Holla at your boy, Jarvan in the jungle. After playing this game, I think it's solidified. Jarvan is by far my favorite jungle champion. I've been playing him a ton lately. I would say I used to main Jax. Now I definitely main Jarvan. I'm just wearing it out with this champion. I just picked him up seriously like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Never played him before. I dabbled with him in the PC version of League of Legends, but Udyr was always my favorite jungle champion back in those days. And I hadn't touched Jarvan on Wild Rift, period, up until recently. And I gotta say, I'm loving it. I don't think he's broken. I don't think he's overpowered. I don't think he needs to be nerfed. But I do think you can take him into almost any team composition and just change the game. He's unbelievable. And if you haven't played him, you got to give him a shot, especially if you're a jungle player. So Timo and I swooping up the first blood on Galio here in the mid lane, and I'm pretty sure Aurelia is going down too. Bless her little heart. She has seriously overstayed her welcome. I don't know. I guess she thought she was gonna get a kill there. Should have just ran when it took a turn against her favor. So we've got a Garen facing off against a Jax in the Baron lane, or the solo lane. Obviously Timo versus Galio there in the mid lane. We've got Vayne and Lux in the duo lane, the dragon lane. They're facing off against Misfortune and Karma. And then in the enemy jungle, we've got Aurelia, who is a gnarly assassin, especially when put in the right hands. But the player jungling this Aurelia doesn't really pose much of a threat at all. Now, we are definitely about to teach this Jax a lesson. He got pretty close. He almost got Garen. But ward your bushes, boys and girls. Ward your bushes. Look, I just warded Garen's bush for him. That's how chill of a jungle bro I am. Oh goodness. I'm just doing it all. I'm just doing it all, carrying the whole team on my back. And you can do that, seriously, with Jarvan. He is not a very high damage output champion, but he brings so much utility into any team composition. Seriously. He's got his terrain trap right here, Exhibit A. I feel a double kill coming. Misfortune's down, not gonna get Karma. Ooh, Galio swooping in to save the day. Not gonna get me though, brother. Gonna get too close for comfort. Aurelia dead in the lane right there. Bless her heart. This Aurelia throughout this entire game just consistently out of position, overstaying her welcome when trying to gank, and that's a recipe for disaster. Timo a bit extended right here, but I'm gonna give this Timo some credit. This Timo's a bad mamma jamma. I mean, he is just putting a whooping on this Galio. Garen, same thing up here in the Baron lane, just tearing up this Jax. Great team. Great team. We've got a nice, I want to say we've got a nice balance of attack damage, ability power, and tankiness, but I think most efficient team compositions have a little more attack damage, right? We've just got Vayne. Like, I'm a tank, you know. Garen's the same way. Now, Garen and Jarvan can dish out an awful lot of damage, but nothing like an AD carry. Not even close, obviously. Look at this. This is another double kill right here. I'm calling it. Boom. Boom. And look, Galio should have just kept running. He decides to jump back for whatever reason. Now, to put this in context, this is a Emerald 1 game in Season 5. And after this game, I am just one win away from Diamond. Garen absolutely could have killed Jax right there. Don't know why he didn't. So after this game, I'm one win away, one victory away from Diamond. And it's taken me a while. Not gonna lie. I've been so invested, Karma. Sorry, Charlie. Stead's dead, baby. You can definitely get this misfortune right here with the lance. Boom. And I've been so focused on making these videos, which has been a lot of fun. I did not know anything about video editing. Just a couple of months ago, I started making these videos just because it's a blast to make them. And as a result, I've been spending, I think, more time trying to learn video editing than I've spent playing the game that I love, which is a blessing and a curse. So Aurelia, true to herself, overstaying her welcome. I feel bad for this Lux, because I kind of trapped her there. And that's okay, because Galio's damage output is pretty low, especially considering how far behind he is. We are 15 to 1 right now. 6 minutes into the game. 16 to 1. We are just crushing the opposition this game. Bless their hearts. Garen consistently beating up this Jax. And we're gonna take this dragon. Aurelia's not even gonna contest it. Good for her. That's wise, in my opinion. So many junglers will try to steal an objective 1v4 when they have almost no chance. I mean, there's some champions that you can get away with a steal like pretty flawlessly, pretty frequently. Lee Sin is an excellent example. I think Jarvan is a good example, right? But you want to make sure you've got a quick gap closer to get not just in to the Dragon's Den or Baron's Den, but you gotta get out too, so you don't give the enemy team a kill. So they just stole the Rift Herald, which is okay. That is one thing that Misfortune is really, really good at. She poses a threat anytime she's contesting an objective, no doubt. But yeah, this is a ranked game, and I promise we are not playing bots. It just seems like it. Here we go. Jax is gonna get away. No, he's not. Miss Aurelia is. She's got me. She got me. Good for her. Teemo got her though. That's all that matters. So Garen did finally get Jax, which just warms my little heart. We got Vayne and Lux trying to take this bottom outer tower in the duo lane. Teemo putting some pressure, doing a little split pushing. See, I've got Black Cleaver, and right now I'm working on Warmog's armor. I've got Black Cleaver and the Gargoyle enchantment on my Merc treads, and I'm working on Warmog's armor. Kind of a, interesting build, I'll admit it, but I've been playing with it a little bit lately, just going super tanky, super quick. Jarvan doesn't have much sustain, and one thing I really love about Warmog's armor, especially later in the game if you pair it with Spirit Visage, is the amount of health regen it awards you. It's a game changer in my opinion, because it prevents you from having to run around and try to collect the grapes to heal yourself, or obviously the alternative, which is return to the fountain. I try to spend as little time in the fountain as possible. Alright, Misfortune apparently sees me in the bush. So I'm gonna go, oh, Teemo took my red buff. That's okay. You sticky little devil. We got some action here in the middle lane. Aurelia is dead, man. Jax just diving into a 2v3. Lux super consistent with her ultimate this game. I mean, she is on point with that ultimate. Galio just overstaying his welcome, for sure. So, I guess I'm gonna try to give you some Jarvan tips. I feel like I've played him enough. I've gotten comfortable enough with him to at least make some recommendations to someone who is just trying out Jarvan for the first time. And I think my biggest recommendation would be to really hone in on your utility, right? You are not a, high damage output champion, but you as Jarvan offer more utility than I would say most other champions in this game. And your entire goal is to get as many assists and as many objectives, as many assists and as many objectives as possible. So you want to be spending more time visiting your teammates in lane early game, trying to gank as often as possible than you would if you were, say, jungling with Master Yi or Tryndamere or Jax, a champion who needs quite a bit of farm in the early and mid game as a jungle champ to really scale well into the late game. So your number one priority isn't farming, it's providing the utility that you offer to your teammates so that they can get an advantage over the enemy team in their lanes, right? So your first ability, which extends your lance, right? When it comes in contact with your third ability, it's going to pull you to your Demacian Standard, I think is the name of that ability. It's going to pull you to the flag, right, that you drop. And it's going to knock up every champion, enemy champion, that you hit along the way. Once you get there, you have your second ability, which will provide you with a shield, and it will also slow nearby enemy champions. So this is an awesome way to engage whenever you're ganking. Now, another thing to consider is there's a lot of champions, like we'll use Tryndamere for example, who has his spinning slash ability allows him to travel through terrain, and it's on a relatively low cooldown. So you don't want to use your ultimate ability, which creates a terrain cage around the enemy champion. You don't want to use that on a champion like Tryndamere, because Tryndamere is likely just going to spin right out of it. I use it on Aurelia a couple of times in this game. She's another champion who can pass through terrain quite frequently. But that's my mistake. I should be using that ability to focus champions like the enemy Misfortune or Karma. Champions who are not going to escape unless they have flash. So that's another thing to be mindful of. If you've got a good team, your teammates are going to ping whenever their enemies in lane use their flash, that summoner spell. So pay attention to that, because if Misfortune has used her flash and my ultimate is up, that's a free kill. Just dive into that lane, trap that Misfortune, and let your ADC and support do all the damage. Now, your Demacian Standard in your first ability, your gap closer slash escape tool, has a really long range. Now, this is sort of balanced by the fact that it takes a moment to queue up, right? It's not quite as quick as, say, Tryndamere's spinning slash, for example. I'm gonna chase down this Karma. At least I'm gonna try to. Oh, this is funny. I remember this. So this Karma You know, I'm chasing her. I think, okay, she goes into this bush. Nope, she's in this bush. Nope, she's in this bush. And then I give up. She was in that bush right there. Okay, so back to Jarvan. Another thing that I think is really important, and this goes for every champion in any game, but I think it's especially important for when you're playing Jarvan in the jungle. Make sure your itemization corresponds with what your team composition needs, right? So realistically, so this game, for example, I went super tanky, right? I went Black Cleaver as my only real offensive item, and then I rushed the Merc Treads with the Gargoyle enchant, and then after that, it's all tank, right? I went Warmog's Armor, Thornmail, you know, Spirit Visage, Sunfire's, the Sunfire Cape, just all tank items. And honestly, I shouldn't have. I should have gone with a little more attack damage, right? Maybe Guardian Angel or Sterix Gauge, or something like that, because we had such an advantage and we could have used a little more attack damage. I think we probably would have ended this game a little more quickly if I had a little more attack damage, because we already had a tank. You know, we've got Garen, and Garen's an outstanding tank. So if your team needs a tank, build super tanky. You've got an excellent gap closer and escape tool, and not to mention, if you land one of your ultimates and you happen to pin like 2 or 3 enemies inside that terrain with you, you're gonna want some help, some magic resist, and some defense to withstand the beating that you're gonna take when they turn on you. So really focus on honing in your utility, and then build your items out depending on what your team composition needs. Now, I think those tips can be applied to any champion, but I think they're super important when it comes to playing Jarvan. So try it out. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching this video.